Good evening. This is a regularly scheduled meeting, although you would never guess it, of the Kettering City Council. Today's date is December 12th, 2023. Please join the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please bow your heads. Dear Lord, thank you for your abundant blessings and surrounding us with stewardship and a supportive community in Kettering. We thank you for the ability to engage in useful work and for the honor of bearing these important responsibilities. We are grateful for your boundless love for all of us. Please continue to give us the strength and compassion with which to serve and grant us the wisdom to make appropriate decisions. Help us remain humble and grateful for the opportunity to lead. Guide this council so that we may work in harmony while serving our citizens with integrity and purpose. Allow us to fulfill the responsibilities entrusted in us by our residents. We also ask you to hold a special place in your hands for the care of Tony Klepaz and Bruce Duke. Amen.
Amen.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'd like to recognize our Miami Valley Communication Council TV operator, Mike Sabroni. Mike, thank you for your assistance. And I certainly want to thank every one of you who have shown up today. I've never seen such a collection of old friends, newer friends, and friends from all over this community. It is awesome to see. We appreciate you being here. We've got a little bit of city business that we do have to cover before we go downstairs and continue with partying and greeting our friends. We'll try to keep it short, but we do have to meet the law, I guess. It's required in it. I'd like at this point to call on Mrs. Fisher for a motion to approve the minutes from the December 5th council meeting and budget workshop.
Your Honor, I have reviewed both the council and budget workshop minutes, and I do find them in order, and I move for their approval.
Second.
Anyone have any questions, comments? Okay, call the roll.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Klepaz?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall? Yes. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Abstain.
Mayor Lehner?
Yes. Okay. We do not have any proclamations and special presentations quite at this point, so we will move on to public hearings. If there's anyone in the audience who wishes... Pardon? Okay, we have no public hearings this evening. Public comments on legislation. If anyone wishes to speak before council tonight with comments or new information about the legislation on tonight's agenda, may do so at this time. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. The speakers must state their name and address. Comments should be addressed to council. If you have comments that are not about the legislation on tonight's agenda or special messages for our friends, there will be an opportunity for those to be heard later in the meeting. Okay. Anyone wish to speak? Okay, hearing no one. We'll now move on to ordinances and second reading, and we'll call on Mrs. Fisher to introduce the ordinances.
Your Honor, I do have an ordinance to provide for the table of organization, position classification plan, compensation plan, and pay schedules and rules and regulations pertaining to the conditions of work and supplemental benefits for the employees of the City of Kettering, Ohio, and to repeal ordinance number 4397-23. It is requested by the Human Resources Department, and I move for its approval.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Greason, would you like to comment further?
Your Honor, members of council, we've presented on this previously. Ms. Smith and I are here to answer any questions that you may have this evening.
Okay, any questions? Okay, hearing none, call the roll.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Klepaz?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall? Yes. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mayor Lehner?
Yes. We'll now call on next person to read the resolutions.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution this evening directing the Finance Director to commit an additional $500,000 of the general fund balance to be expended for economic development purposes effective January 1st, 2024. It's requested by the Finance Department. I move for approval.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Greason.
Your Honor, this is part of our annual commitment to economic development and the 2024 budget. Be glad to answer any questions that you have about it.
Any questions? Okay, seeing none, call the roll.
Mr. Kleipas?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to accept a special projects grant from the Thomas R. Schiff Foundation. I move for, this is being requested by the Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Department. The estimated cost is $6,000. There is nothing budgeted for it. I move for approval.
Second.
Any questions? I'll call the roll.
Are you asking for explanation?
Yeah. Matt, would you like to give that one too?
Be glad to answer any questions anybody has.
Okay, call the roll.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Kleipas?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to contract with Patriot Engineering and Environmental, Inc. for a Phase 2 environmental test assessment, site assessment. Estimated cost is $43,100. That is the amount budgeted and is requested by the engineering department. I do move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we will, it's been moved and double seconded, and we will ask for an explanation from Steve.
Thank you, Your Honor. As mentioned, this resolution will authorize the city to contract with Patriot Engineering for a Phase 2 environmental site assessment for the former Cheerheart Cleaners property, which is located at 2659 Patterson Road. This is a city-owned property. Recently, the Ohio EPA has made inquiries about the site and its underground environmental conditions. Therefore, we would like to move forward with a Phase 2 ESA to determine the current conditions underground. We are planning to use CDBG funds to cover the cost of the contract. Be happy to answer any questions.
Questions? Okay, hearing none, please call the roll.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Kleipas?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall? Mayor Laner?
Yes.
I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to apply for a safety grant from the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation. The estimated cost is $12,500. This is being requested by the fire department. Move for approval.
Second.
Matt?
Yes, Your Honor. The City of Kettering is eligible to apply for a grant from the Bureau of Workers' Compensation, and if awarded, the grant funds would be used to purchase safety equipment for the Kettering Fire Department. The program allows for equipment purchases that help minimize exposure to dangerous elements. It's a 5-to-1 matching grant where the Bureau of Workers' Compensation will provide $5 for every $1 the employer contributes. We would like to use the funds to purchase structural firefighting gloves and/or Nomex blend particulate hoods for fire department members. The maximum amount of the grant is $12,500. The funds required by the city would be no more than $2,500.
Okay, thank you. And Chief Pratzman, would you like to comment? No, I'm sorry. Wrong chief.
That's all right, Your Honor.
I will if you'd like me
This is just a Bureau of Workers' Comp grant that we're applying for to get safety equipment, as the city manager said, for hoods and fire gloves, and based on the city structure and size, this is the amount that we've been authorized to apply for.
Thank you. Any questions? Call the roll.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Kleipas?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall? Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to contract with Axon Enterprise Incorporated for the purpose of new equipment and services for the Kettering Police Department. Estimated cost, $1,000,000 $758,145.48. Amount budgeted, 0. I move for approval. Requested by the Police Department, I move for approval.
Second.
Chief Brodsky.
Thank you, Your Honor. As we've discussed in the past, it's time for us to replace our body-worn cameras, our in-car cameras, and also the tasers that officers carry. Working with Axon, they'll bundle all three, which will experience a savings for that. This contract also includes video storage and software services that go along with those devices. Be happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions? Okay, call the roll.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Klepass?
Yes.
Mr. Hall? Mrs. Hall, my apologies. Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I do have a resolution authorizing the city manager to accept and administer a community housing impact and preservation program for lead abatement program grant from the Ohio Department of Development. The estimated cost is $110,000 with no funds available, and it is requested by Planning and Development Department, and I move for its approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Matt?
Yes, Your Honor, you previously authorized us to apply for these funds, and we were successful in obtaining them. This resolution will authorize us to move forward and accept and administer the program, which is a lead abatement program for Kettering residents. It allows the city of Kettering to access these funds through the state of Ohio through their competitive CHIP program. The funds to be accepted are $110,000. Mr. Robillard and I would be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? Okay, call the roll.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Klepass?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution to make supplemental appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Kettering, State of Ohio, during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023. The estimated cost is $2,120,845.48. Estimated cost. Requested by Finance Department, I move for approval.
Second?
Okay, Matt?
Yes, Your Honor, this is several supplemental appropriations to help accomplish some of the things you've previously approved. One is related to the Axon agreement you just voted on, $1,758,145.48. The second is $2,700 to accept a donation of educational supplies from the school district for the city's land lab program. And the third is a supplemental appropriation of $360,000, and it's two things. One is the $110,000 you just approved for the lead abatement program, and the second is $250,000 that you approved at a prior council meeting to help do the CHIP program housing rehabilitation. Be glad to answer any questions that you have. We recommend approval.
Okay, hearing none, call the roll.
Mr. Klepass?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution to make supplemental appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Kettering, State of Ohio during fiscal year ending December 31st, 2023. This is being requested by the Finance. Did I do the wrong one?
No, you didn't.
I'm on the right one? No, I did the wrong one. Well, just wanted to make sure that we got that last one thoroughly. Okay. I have a resolution to make appropriations for current expenditures of the City of Kettering, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. This is being requested by the Finance Director, and there's no associated costs.
Move for
I
approval.
move for approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Mr. Reeson?
Your Honor, I don't want a good budget presentation to get in the way of a better recognition in party, so I'm going to be relatively quick and be glad to answer any questions. This ordinance provides the appropriations for expenditures in fiscal year 2024. It supports continuing Kettering's high quality of services and programs for its citizens, as well as in investing in the maintenance of our community's infrastructure. So as a custom, I'm going to highlight a few important things about the 2024 budget, but I want to thank the department directors, the city manager's office staff, in particular the finance department team, and each of you for your work on this. We've done work sessions on the long-range forecast, the capital improvement program, and a lot of conversation about the operating budget. And we appreciate the thoroughness in which you've reviewed the materials that I'm going to briefly highlight tonight. Once again, we're able to present a positive operating margin for 2024, almost $4 million. That means that operating revenues exceed operating expenditures. Our income tax revenues are projected next year to be $56,400,000. There's no increase in total personnel. In fact, there's a slight decrease and only modest increases in non-personnel operating related to inflation and chargebacks to departments. Those are costs that are generally centrally paid and billed back to departments like utilities. Our capital improvements budget is $13.5 million, and we're able to maintain a healthy general fund balance. Speaking of the general fund balance, it's estimated to be over $56 million at the end of 2024. Most important is to look at the general fund balance, which is projected to be $47,729,892 at the end of 2024. Our general fund balance trends are good. We have a 61% balance, which is very good. It represents the excess balance as a percentage of the total available. Our major revenue streams continue to include the income tax at 76%. That is why jobs, economic development, and land uses like offices, manufacturing, commercial uses are important to maintaining quality city services, and obviously property tax at 12%. Our general fund expenditures are over $74 million, with over 50% of that being dedicated to police and fire. We also have a robust commitment to parks, recreation, and cultural arts at 11% of budgeted general fund expenditures. We're in the service delivery business, which requires significant investment in people, and about 81% of general fund expenditures are for personnel in 2024. You'll see a fluctuation of these expenditures over the period of years in this chart. That is related to federal funds contributing to the revenue mix. When you take those funds out, CARES Act and ARPA, there's a more flat personnel cost escalation, which is projected to be 4.5% in 2024. This slide looks at operating expenditures without personnel costs. Things like the Axon contract that you approved, a $600,000 economic development grant, and our Day Air loan program expenditures made expenditures in 2023 higher. 2024 returns to a more normal non-personnel operating expenditure level. I would say one notable investment in that area this upcoming year will be an effort to update our comprehensive plan. Briefly, I'll say that our 2024 capital outlay, that's purchase of equipment, vehicles, and things like that, is about $1.8 million. Next slide. Here are some of the highlights of our capital outlay program in 2024. I'll note that we're not increasing our size or the fleet size. We're just replacing vehicles that have reached a point where they need to be. Part of our replacement is funded by a multi-year commitment made when we received ARPA funds, and here are some of the vehicles that are being funded in 2024 as part of that plan. Just briefly, I'll highlight our debt at approximately $21 million. There's no new debt scheduled to be undertaken in 2024. Our budgeted debt service is $2,719,000. I briefly highlighted the capital improvement program earlier. Here are some of the notable projects that are in our capital improvement program. We're focused on maintaining core infrastructure of our great city in 2024. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions, and I would challenge Mr. Sweeterman, who I saw in the office, in the audience, whether he ever did it quicker than that.
I doubt it, and I kind of feel like we just aired the family laundry. Anyone want to share?
I'd be glad to answer any questions that anybody may have in all seriousness.
All right. Any questions? Okay. Hearing none, call the roll.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Klepass?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes. Okay. Do we have any certifications or petitions? Ordinances, yeah, sorry. Ordinances in first reading.
Your Honor, I have an emergency ordinance to amend various sections of Chapter 192 of the codified ordinances regarding income tax and declare an emergency. This is requested by the Finance Department. I move for approval.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Greason.
Yes, Your Honor. This ordinance amends various sections of Chapter 192 of the codified ordinances related to income taxes. Ms. Gregory could probably explain this in much more detail, but I'll do my best. We have to do this because we need to conform portions of our code to the Ohio Revised Code and changes that the state legislature has made to income tax laws. Briefly, one section is relates to people under 18. It officially states that no municipality can impose a tax under anyone 18. The second amendment is related to net profit apportionment, and this is related to businesses with remote or hybrid employees and how net profits are apportioned. A third section is net profit extensions. Beginning in tax year 2023, businesses receiving a 6-month federal extension will now have an added month to file their net profit returns. There's a fourth section relating to late filing penalties and changes, basically reduces the penalty to a one-time $25 fee. And there's a fifth section that relates to prohibiting notices and inquiries. Municipalities that send such requests must do so after a taxpayer with a federal extension in place has their extension date is passed. We'd be glad to answer any questions. Ms. Gregory, if you have anything to add, I'd welcome that.
Good evening. Just a couple of things. These provisions are required to be in our ordinance, but we actually already and have always applied, for example, the not taxing taxpayers under the age of 18. But this is just making it official in line with state law with House Bill 33 that was recently passed.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Seeing none, call the roll.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Duke?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Klepass?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mayor Laner?
Yes. Okay. At this point, I will call on China Kozinski for any certifications or petitions.
Your Honor, we did not have any certifications or petitions this evening, but I would like to take a moment to thank Mr. Klepass and Mr. Duke for their service to the Kettering community.
Sure, that's mutual. But I'll let them speak for themselves after one final item, and that's manager's report, community update.
Yes, Your Honor, I'll be brief once again. Please get your dog license. The deadline to purchase a dog license is January 31st, 2024. We welcome anybody to join us at our Christmas Day gathering, get a hot meal with friends, a free hot meal, I should say, at the Charles Latham Center, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., December 25th. Just to highlight some of the holiday things, we certainly wish everyone a happy holiday. Our offices will be closed on December 25th and 26th. Due to the Christmas Day holiday, Rumpke service will be delayed one day. So Monday service will move to Tuesday, Tuesday to Wednesday, so on. Likewise, we want everyone to have a great New Year. Our offices will be closed, administrative offices, January 1st, and similarly, Rumpke service will be delayed one day the week of January 1st, Monday service to Tuesday, Tuesday to Wednesday, and so on. Be glad to answer any questions,
That's it.
ready to turn it over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Now comes the fun part. So I get this part right. Anyone wishing to speak before council this evening may do so at this time. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. We might make some exceptions for that. Speakers must state their name and address. Comments should be addressed to council. If you have comments that are not about the legislation on tonight's agenda, there will be an opportunity for those to be heard later. Yes, I read the wrong one. Yeah. It's not about legislation. We told you this is going to be a little rough. Promised you. Yes, if you'd like to speak before council, come. I think everyone knows State Rep Andrea White.
Well, thank you, Mayor Lehner, and I am truly honored to be here to remember some very dear friends and colleagues and public servants and leaders for this community. And there will be many accolades and many details. I have bearing gifts from the Ohio House of Representatives for Councilman Bruce Duke, Councilmember Tony Klepaz, and I won't read them because we all would rather hear other things, but I do want to tell you some personal stories. Just to share, you know, we can talk about their service and their legacy and all of the different contributions to the community. I would just like to share a couple personal stories. So I first met Councilmember Bruce Duke, I believe in 1996, when you were serving. My husband, John White, was elected to Kettering Council, and I met you. And one of my earliest memories of you is I attended a National League of Cities conference. And Bruce went to the sessions. I will tell you, lots of people at that conference mingle and network. Bruce was intent on making a difference, getting ideas, sharing ideas, and bringing them back to this city. And so when I drive around, and I also remember your service as a counselor and all that you did in that office at UD for all of those students, all of those families, and the impression that made on me is that you are a person who wants to make an impact on the individual level, the micro level, and the macro level. And I also, as I think about what your legacy is, two specific things I think about. One of those ideas you brought to this city is our public art program. So when I drive by and I see the beautiful public art, you know, by the duck pond, and driving through and I see these monuments of remembrance and impact of the art and what they stand for, I think of Bruce Duke. And then when I think about the Kettering Leadership Academy and the legacy of individuals in this room and in these chairs who you got an idea, you promoted that idea, and you got it going, and you've left a legacy. Those are two brief things. But I want you to know that you will be remembered after you vacate that chair because people around this community see you and the work and the handiwork that you've made on this community. And I want to thank you personally and as a legislature and as a community for your service, Councilmember Bruce Duke. And I will present this to you in a non-fair way.
Thank you.
I truly treasure the work that you have done for this community. I'm honored to know you.
Go ahead, John. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you.
And now for Councilmember Tony Klepaz. So while Bruce has 37 years, Tony doesn't have quite as many, but he's been around this community working and making an impact on many levels for many years. And so my personal story about Councilmember Klipaz is I served on the Partners for Healthy Youth Board, and that's when I first got to know him a little better. And there's many in this room that have been involved in Partners for Healthy Youth in this audience, and I think about the impact. So Tony sees a need. He has the heartstrings for the children and the families of this community. And so when we were considering what to do, because there were children, kids going across the street to Kroger on Whip and leaving wrappers on the shelf during the summer because they were hungry. What are we to do? How can we come together as a community? So working with Councilmember Klipaz, myself, Mary Beth Odell, and others in this room helped get together the summer food program over at the Trails of Oak Creek. And as Tony likes to say, it's more than a sandwich. It's about relationships and impact and speaking into the lives of our young people. So that has been going on, I've lost count, 14, 15, how many years? The thousands and thousands of full bellies and kids that felt loved on. And I remember you going regularly, week after week. The community would come in with the groups. You would be there. You would show up. Your legacy in the way you have loved on people and cared about their needs, that's just one example. And I want to thank you for your service and your legacy in this community.
Okay, Mr. Martin. Don, can you let him go first? Thank you. He's got somewhere he has to go. I've been treating him like that ever since I took over from him.
This is a first for me. Mayor and council and management staff, thank you so much for moving me up. But it's a big region, you know, and I executive director at the Miami Valley Regional Planning Commission. So I've got another party to go to after this, so I really appreciate being moved up. I think this is a first, Don, so hang on, Don. I came to MVRPC as executive director back in 2013, and when I did that, the guy behind me was on my search committee, and after a couple of years, a few vacations, a cruise or two, I started to get to know Tony Klipaz, his alternate. And we would tease each other, and I would always say, well, where's Don? You know, I'm feeling second rate here at MVRPC because, you know, the delegate's not here. But after a while, over the years, we certainly learned to serve together with Tony, and it became certainly an honor. And I've been at MVRPC for 11 years, and Tony has served with me during that time as alternate and delegate over those 11 years. Tony was always the one to focus on financials. I'm sure he does that here. I noticed that you made the motion for the finance resolution at this place. So it was always good to converse and bounce ideas off with Tony. And also with Bruce, it's been great to work with you, sir. First Suburbs, you were not the delegate to MVRPC, but I certainly was able to see you. You're losing two regional stewards, in my view. They know all the mayors, all the council members all across the region. So you're losing some wonderful assets, and it's going to be tough to replace them, I know. But I thank you for MVRPC, for your membership, for our board and our staff. It's been great working with Kettering, and I know that that will continue. And I look forward to working with the next set of delegates, delegate and alternate for your wonderful city. Really love the lights in Lincoln Park. What a great asset. Whoever is doing that, kudos. But I need to bring my family here between now and Christmas just so they can see it. But I appreciate it. Have a good evening. Thank you so much for your service.
Thanks, Brian. Thank you very much.
Don? Just waiting.
Thanks, Brian.
I've seen him.
I don't think anyone needs to be introduced.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Mayor
I'm Don Patterson, 715 Stanbridge Drive, Kettering, Ohio. I don't know what to say after the other two people have hit on all these different highlights, but as I was sitting here, I was looking up front and I saw the current mayor and 6 council people. When you sit up there and look out here, you see a past mayor and 6 council members out here. Those council members, I'd like to recognize them for their service and being here tonight. First of all, Amy Shrimp, Rob Scott, Ray Watsky, Joe Wanamaker. What's your name again?
Spo.
Spo, as we called him.
Bill Otter.
I said Bill, right? Yeah. Your ears are going after those 17 years, brother. I know the over-under is $100 on whether I can get through the speech without losing it or whatever, and that's between Bergstresser and Ms. Duvall up here, but I don't really have anything serious to get into or emotional. I had the privilege of serving my entire 24 years with Bruce. We met and did the things that people talked about, the National League of Cities, the conventions we went to, out west, north, south, Kansas City, et cetera, and we got to know each other. And I think that that's something that's not in today's politics. Today's politics are ugly. And we never lost sight of who we were serving and what we needed to do to make this community be good, be great. We had 7 people that pulled on the same edge. I forgot to introduce, we also have a city manager back here, an assistant city manager, who are facing you as well. So I don't think we ever lost sight of that, no matter who was on council. We brought new blood in. We've had old blood that's been here. I mean, I told Bruce before the meeting I was 31 years old when he sat on his first meeting here in council. So it's been a long time. Bruce, you did a tremendous amount of things for this community. I also would like to thank Joan Kleepass and Jan Duke, because while we're always at meetings, dinners, events, etc., they're the ones that sit at home. They're the ones that have to find something to do while we're doing the things we love to do. And thank them for their service as well as for Bruce and me. Andre hit on the fact of Bruce, 2 things that he had tremendous passion for. When I say tremendous, more than just strong passion. One was the Leadership Academy, which I think they celebrated their 20th year or so as far as that. That was Bruce's child. And Bruce nurtured that through those periods of time. And I think residents don't understand how important this is, because the people that go through this class, we hope, will become leaders in our community. And we have new council people that are coming on and that are on that went through this class and understood what it took to be a council person and understood what we needed as a community. And what a great program. Now, I can't honestly stand here in good conscience and tell you that I was an arts person. I didn't care. I think most people know, I was more interested in jobs and businesses and that type of thing. So I sat in those meetings and really bit my tongue and thought, okay, fine, we'll put up some art, etc. But I think to the benefit of Bruce's stubbornness, when you drive around this community, you see what we are. We're an entire community. We're a whole community. We have things that are wonderful and great. I still don't understand that Pantene metal that we put on those things and the rust that it causes. But I think that you look around our parks and you look at Lincoln Park and you look at some of the things that you see out in front. And Bruce had a monument put by his house as far as for artwork that he told us that he used to go downtown and that's how he went across that bridge. I don't think any of us on council bought that you went downtown and crossed that bridge and went through Oakwood. But Bruce's passion will be remembered. The things that he did, the friendships that you made, you can't put those in words. And excuse me, there's a lot that we were able to accomplish. That doesn't count. There's a lot that we were able to accomplish because of Bruce and moving and things and passions that he had. Bruce, thank you for your 37 years of service. Thank your family for giving up you, or maybe that was a plus. I'm not sure, Jan, of whether that was or not, but thank you for sharing Bruce with us on council and this community. And then there's you. I knew that we made the right decision as council when you came before us and was applying, because at that time we were able to appoint to fill vacancies on council. Tony was one of the ones that came before council and we interviewed him and we talked and said, we want this guy. We like what we see, we like what we hear. He has a passion for things and we want to see that. And Tony, you didn't cheat us in the 17 years that you were on council. You had a lot of things that you did, and Andrea touched on them, from the hunger program, the friends you made, and the kids you became close with over there, and everything that you did. It's unbelievable how you can take things and your involvement with sister cities and your passion with that, even though for the last 10 years, I think it's rained every single day or every single event. But thank you for doing all that. Your work on the committees, and Brian hit it, the MVRPC, that's an important regional committee that you sat on in an organization, because they control a lot of the funds that we were able to get and used for benefit of this community. I can't thank you enough for your friendship. You talk about things where you're a friend, you're a family, and that was true. I can't tell you the number of hours we sat in Panera Bread when we were going to have breakfast that lasted for 3 to 4 hours, and I would come home and Maureen would say, what did you guys talk about? We would I'd always laugh and tell Tony, I'd tell her nothing, you know, because we talked about anything and everything, and we still get together and we still do that almost on a monthly basis. I appreciate the things and the commitments. I don't think there was any better person, myself included, that came into workshop sessions, budget sessions, more prepared than Tony. Now, Mark didn't like a lot of that, but he was prepared, and he was one of the ones that actually had read the entire thing. So, Tony, thank you for everything that you did. You did unbelievable things in 17 years. We got to be friends. We played golf together. We ate together. We drank together. Maybe I shouldn't say that. We had some Cokes together. But it was like family. And I appreciate that friendship more than you know. You'll find out that people always say to me now, do you miss it? And I'm like, no, I don't miss the stuff. I cleaned that up a little, but I don't miss that, but I miss the people. And that's something both of you are going to miss and keep in touch with people. Keep doing the things you do. Tony was always known as Mr. Shop Kettering. And during the holiday seasons, even out of the holiday seasons, Tony used to end his council comments by Shop Kettering. And you will forever be known as that, Mr. Shop Kettering. And that was important to small shops in our community, that they get some of the exposure that the big stores get. So thank you both for your years of service. I enjoyed serving with both of you. I served with Bruce my entire time, and with Tony for 15 years. So thank you all. I appreciate the time in that, and the best of luck to both of you. Thanks.
Thank you, Don. You won the vote, the thing on the tiers. Not so good on the time. But we had a bet on that one, too. No, in all seriousness, we all enjoyed working with you so much, and appreciate your comments, and all true. So, was there anyone else who wished to speak at this point? We would be limited to time, and we would be going off the agenda, but you'd have an opportunity to come on downstairs and eat, and we have some gifts we want to give and allow more of you to personally talk to all the people that are here tonight. I would like, if there's no one else who wishes to speak here, I would like to give a couple of proclamations, but you're coming down, so come on. First suburb, so yeah.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Some of the people here.
Quite a few.
I'm Georgianne Godsey. I am from Harrison Township, and I am Secretary of the First Suburbs. And I've had the pleasure of knowing Bruce Duke for the 10 years that I have been in that group. He's certainly been a mentor for me. Jack Jensen was supposed to be here, and he asked me to read this for him. Bruce, I wish I could be here in person to help celebrate your retirement and say a few words, but this is the best I can do right now. I first got to know Bruce many years ago at National League of Cities conferences, another organization where Bruce constantly worked for the benefit of the residents of Kettering. He has also been one of Kettering's representatives to the First Suburbs Consortium almost since the organization was formed, and has served multiple terms as treasurer, vice chair, and chair. Bruce always has great ideas which have contributed greatly to the success of First Suburbs. He was the originator of the idea to create a resource catalog of community enrichment, best practices from each member community. He also worked tirelessly to make the 2021 Talent Attraction Retention Conference an overwhelming success. To mention just a couple of things he immersed himself in. Most of all, he is a friend and a confidant and has always worked to support First Suburbs and for the residents of Kettering. Bruce, you will be missed, and thank you for all you have done for so many. Happy retirement from Jack. And from First Suburbs, I would like to say that you have been a wonderful influence for us. You were there many years before I was, and I was jealous. I remember when I asked if I could come in and take your Leadership Academy classes, and you very clearly said, no, you're not a resident.
You can come anytime, Joanne.
Thank you. But I can say to the entire council that for myself in Harrison Township, Kettering has always been a guiding light for me. You accomplished so many things, and it's like if we can do things like that in a smaller way, we're doing something good for our community too. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jordan.
Come on down.
Uh-oh, here comes the boss. Oh, the boss, Tony.
Sort of. I was going to say,
I'm not going down there.
Bruce, do you want to stay there, or do you want to come down?
I'll stay here. That'd be fine.
Nah, well,
I don't,
go stand next to him.
it's too hard to get down there now.
Okay, straight to you. Okay.
Hard to get down.
I have the job of sort of doing the formal part of this. A proclamation is always called for. I was going back and forth up there whether I wanted to read both of them or have someone else read one of them. And I came to the conclusion I was going to go ahead and read these because I can't begin to put into words what the two of you have meant to me in my life. So I'm going to prepare someone else's words. But I want you to know this is coming from my heart. Both of you have been absolute role models for me and as to what a council member should be. And I hope the fact that I got elected to mayor indicates that I did something right somewhere along the way. And if I did, it was because of the influence and advice of the two of you. Let me read first for Tony. Today we honor Tony Klepaz for his service and dedication to the Kettering community for the past 16 years. And whereas Tony began his public service in 2007, serving the residents in District 3, advocating for fiscal management and improving neighborhoods, bolstering the longevity of the community. And whereas Tony continues to make a profound difference for residents of all ages by helping to implement an annual participation in the award-winning summer food program at the Trails of Oak Creek. And whereas Tony helped maintain the beauty of Kettering's unique neighborhood through property maintenance and through his support of programs such as Neighborhood Pride. And whereas Tony is a shining example of community pride, he encouraged residents to shop local and to shop Kettering, to support small businesses that are the backbone of a thriving economy. And whereas the Kettering community expresses its gratitude to Mr. Shop Kettering for his steadfast leadership and commitment to make Kettering a premier destination residents and small business owners are proud to call home. Now, therefore, I, Peggy Lehner, Mayor of the City of Kettering, does hereby proclaim December 31st, 2023 to be Tony Klepaz Day in the City of Kettering. And on behalf of City Council, City Administration, and the residents of Kettering, I would like to commend Tony Klepaz for his exemplary service and offer our best wishes for a rewarding future filled with good health and happiness. Thank you, Tony. Tony, I'd like to present this to you, and I'd like Joan to come and join us down here for a second. Come here, Joan. You thought you were going to get away with it. Don referenced to how much sacrifice there is made by the wives and family members of council members. It takes a lot more time away from the family than most other things. And you have been just a wonderful companion and wife and advisor to Tony. And we'd like to just present some flowers to you.
Oh, how nice.
Appreciate it. Okay. And Bruce. I don't know what we're going to do without you, except I have a feeling you'll show up every week anyway. Promise? He's gone to sleep. Bruce is being honored today by his many friends and colleagues as we celebrate his 37 years of service dedicated to the Kettering community as a member of City Council. And whereas Bruce Duke began his public service career in 1986, when he was first elected to City Council to serve the residents of District 4, And whereas Bruce Duke recognized the importance of building and maintaining a vibrant community to enhance the quality of life of all residents. And whereas Bruce advocated for and worked towards accomplishing unique projects throughout the city's history, including the development of Fray's Pavilion, the rehabilitation of the Ridgeway Road Bridge, and renovations to improve aging infrastructure. And whereas Bruce parlayed his passion to educate the next generation of public servants into his creation of the Kettering Leadership Academy, which in its 20th year continues to encourage collaboration and continued learning for the brightest community servants. And whereas the Kettering community is a better place due to the example Bruce Duke demonstrated as a devoted public servant. Now therefore, I, Peggy Lehner, Mayor of the City of Kettering, does hereby proclaim December 30th, 2023 to be Bruce Duke Day in the city of Kettering, Ohio. And on behalf of City Council, City Administration, and the residents of Kettering, would like to express our sincerest gratitude to Bruce Duke for his service in the Kettering community and offer our best wishes for a well-deserved retirement. Thank you. Those of you who don't know Jan, this is Saint Jan, as we have come to call her. We know this past year has been, I'm sure, the toughest of your life.
It's true.
And you have stood there by Bruce every second of the time and just awed us all with, you shouldn't be elected the wife of Bruce, you should be elected the President of the United States. Well, there's lots of people who should be.
She'd do a good job.
She'd do a great job. But we have
And
some
who would
flowers
take
for
care
you
of
as
me?
well. We're going to come up here and
Tony? Tony? We have to give it.
Yeah, you can, and I'll move out of the way. Come on up.
a lot of this has never been done, so we're
No, this is wonderful. Yeah.
glad you're having a good
I'm having a great time. My first act, you said January 30th, my first act for that day is everyone gets the day off. It's a Saturday. You know, it's a Saturday. Tony, you get a Sunday, you get them all off.
That's it? Oh,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
I think, yeah, it is, yeah.
All right. Tell me when it's my turn. I got to introduce.
Just wait, just wait.
My turn is coming. I'm not done yet. Thank you, dear.
Where's she going? I thought she's leaving.
What's next?
She's leaving.
She's out of here.
She didn't gavel the meeting to a close.
Yeah.
Jackie, you got to fill in.
I'm after Tony. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
kind of crowd.
right,
Where are you going, to the restroom?
right.
Very funny. Okay. I think with that, we're going to start with Mayor's comments, and we'll start with you, Jackie.
So Bruce Duke, Andrea's right, Kettering Leadership Academy, that's why I'm sitting here in this seat, serving my city from that experience. Tony Klepaz, my wingman. Things looked funny, and I would say, does this make sense? Or are we supposed to be doing this? Always my wingman. Not goodbye, see y'all later, because I know you're going to serve.
Thank you. Jill.
I'm going to yield most of my time to Bruce and Tony, but I just want to say what a privilege it's been to serve on council with you, how much I've learned these first couple years being here, and just the amazing institutional knowledge and information about finance with Tony and Bruce's longstanding leadership in the National League of Cities and the tremendous things that he's accomplished here. I really am going to miss seeing you and on council here, and really appreciate having had the opportunity to serve with you.
Thank you.
I will also try to be brief, but Tony and Bruce, before you get started, I think it's worthwhile to recognize our fellow Dorwood optimists here that are here to support you this evening. A shout out to them.
Bob for the sake.
Yeah.
And I would say, as a citizen, I really appreciate your years of service. I really do. Even more so as a council person serving with you these last couple of years. Bruce, you were an invaluable resource of other cities, things you've studied on your own, and the experiences of the council over the years. And Tony, you were always prepared and you always did your homework. And I thank you for that. And my last comment is, with your permission, I'd like to pick up the mantle as customs and traditions of council and become Mr. Shop Kettering. Take that role from you.
Very good.
There's quite a few people that want that title, but since you're the first to ask, Baba, it's C&T, custom and tradition. Okay.
The bidding starts after this meeting. But, gentlemen, thank you so much. I really appreciate your service.
I will also be brief. I had a whole thing written out that I was going to say, but it all just boils down to I respect and admire the hell out of both of you. You're the reason I'm here. We should have put money on it if I'd cry, because now I'm crying.
Oh, wonderful.
But I also want to say that because you two are here, we've all had the chance, as has been discussed, to know Joan Kleepaz and Dr. Jan Duke. And we all know you are the brains behind the operation. So thank you both. It's a pleasure to know both of you as well. Thank you.
I think we're going to hop over to, what's your name? Who are you? No.
How easily we forget. Yeah.
No.
Well,
Tony,
this is my final council comment report. Thank you all for your comments tonight, and also thanks for everyone that came. And to say a dollar, especially my brothers and sisters from Dorwood Optimist. But first I want to thank my wife Joan, who y'all met tonight, who's supported me and also served the city by, she's answered phone calls. She works on concerns that are expressed by residents and neighbors, and she's always been a great ambassador for our city. And as it was mentioned earlier, a big part of my service is Joan's service to the city also. In addition, our children are all here tonight, Chris, Andy, and Jill, and they probably had to answer questions thrown their way that was caused by their dad. So thanks for when you had to do that, and appreciate that. I'm overwhelmed by the attendance tonight. It's been a long time since we've had this many people here. And I see a lot of old friends, old acquaintances. I see the former mayor of Oakwood here. She's hiding out there, but I do see her there. Haven't seen her since she blocked traffic at Myers a couple years ago, and I couldn't get in the front door. But thanks for all of you that came tonight. My remarks will be brief because my 16-plus years on council are pale compared to what you're going to hear down the way in a little bit. Many people have asked me, what's your greatest accomplishment? I answer, I've not achieved anything. I've not achieved anything, but we sure have. And I think former Mayor Patterson said a lot of we's in his talk tonight, and that's kind of the way I feel. We has included 2 different mayors that I've served with, over 10 different city council members, 2 different city managers, 2 different assistant city managers. and a city staff over the years that are second to none. Our community's blessed with the we's that we have here, and that's what's made us what we are in Kettering. Lastly, I also want to I get asked quite a bit, what are you going to do with your time? And I bet you know the answer. I'm going to shop Kettering. That's my answer. Now, Mayor, I'd like to turn my time back to the person who holds the record that will never be broken in Kettering, 36+ years on council. He's been my mentor, he's been my colleague, but more so, he's my friend, Bruce Duke. That's it.
And last but not least, and we'll certainly give all of you a chance downstairs to speak as long as you want, but at this point, we'll give you Mr. Bruce Duke.
Thank you, Mayor. I just realized that all you folks haven't actually been welcomed. On behalf of the City Council, the City of Kettering, welcome. I've been trying to recognize everyone that's here tonight, and my vision is not as great as I would like it to be right now, but I do see people from Clayton. I think Mr. Gorman is here, Oakwood, Hubert Heights, Richard Shaw, and Glenn Otto are here. And there's others from other communities, and we can't go around and I can't identify everyone, but how about this? Would all of you, if you can, if you choose to, that are currently or past elected officials, just stand up so we can applaud all of you and the work you do. Very good. It's great to see all of you here. I promised I would keep my remarks to 10 minutes. I've written them out, so here's my remarks. And oh, now I've got to wing it. Oh. This is it's so neat to see everyone. When I was elected in 1986, Mayor Jerry Bush at the time worked at the University of Dayton, as did I, and Jerry said, please come to my office, and I did, and I sat down, and he said, you know, I want you to remember this now that you're on City Council. The order of things in your life need to be family first, your job second, and City Council third. Those are pretty wise words of a gentleman that I totally respect. I know he couldn't be here this evening, but Jerry Bush really had a bigger hand in the creation of public art in this community than I did. He took the council to some other communities in Indiana to say, this is what it could look like. And I'm proud to say now that Kettering is near the top of the list in the state of Ohio for the quality and quantity of our public art. Don Patterson will never love it, but you know, but he puts up with it, and that's good. Don, you've been a supporter over the family first. I've had a rough year, as many of you know. On January 9th of last year, I was blessed with, well, I wrote it down so I could pronounce it properly, and now I can't find it, with viral encephalopathy. It is a rare virus. 1 in every 100,000 apparently contract it. In some cases, it's not a big deal. In other cases, like mine, it's a very big deal. It's a virus that attacks your brain. And I lost about 20% of my brain. Many people thought I had lost that 60 years ago. Oh yeah, you're not telling us anything new, you know. But when that happens to you, it placed me in a coma for 2 months. January, February, and part of March of last year, I was in a coma, and I particularly tonight, there were many of you actually, that came to visit me during that time, and I want to apologize to you for not smiling and winking and responding and thanking you. But then again, you have to remember I was in a coma, and I didn't even know you were there. But please accept my apologies. It left me with inability to move about 80% of my muscles. The nerves were all destroyed, and I have spent since that time rehabbing, trying to get stronger, to get some of the muscle movement back, and to be able eventually to walk. I'm delighted to say that in August, I was able to stand for the first time, and now with the help of a machine, I'm able to take about 20 little steps. I'm coming along. It may be a long time till I'm back where I want to be, but I'm here tonight because of 2 reasons. Number one, well, really 3. The medical profession, the doctors that saved my life. 2, folks like you, all of you that came to see me, sent cards, sent prayers, you name it. I have been blessed with such a response. Jan started something called the Kettering Bridge, is that what it's called? And she could put online my progress and my updates. And it started going to just a few people, and I think other people kept asking, get me on the list, get me on. I think it's 280 people, Jan, is that right? Okay. It's been a tough year. I think it's been a tougher year for my wife. Jan, would you stand up again? Do you have her flowers? These are Jan. These are for you. I didn't know you were receiving flowers. Those are nicer, actually. You know. But let me tell you about Jan. As most of you know, Jan is a medical doctor, and just retired, frankly, kind of recently. She was supposed to retire in December. Last December, I got sick, and from January 9th to probably August 1st, I mean, we're talking about 8 months or so, Janice Duke, MD, was by my side 12 to 15 hours a day. She never left. She left to do certain medical things she had to do for some of her patients as she wrapped up her medical practice. But I will tell you that she never left my side. And what a blessing. She helped, obviously, me, but she also helped my care. As a physician, she knew when she thought they should do something maybe a little differently, and it helped. It certainly helped me. Be honest with you, I wouldn't be alive today if it was not fair for Jan's love and care for me during this past year. So, darling, I love you. Thank you so much. And I've often told her she would make a great elected official, and she simply would say, I want no part of that. And I was surprised today, actually yesterday, I didn't know it until then, to learn that my daughter Kelly is here. Kelly, would you stand up? Kelly is from Chicago, Oak Park, Illinois, suburb of Chicago, and drove in today, this afternoon, to be here. I'm very proud of Kelly. She is the executive director of, why don't you tell them the name of it, because I can't remember it. Kelly is the executive director of a nonprofit organization in Oak Park, Illinois, that provides Christmas presents, gift cards, food, etc., for over 800 families in Oak Park, Illinois. Kelly organized all of it, the buying of all the gifts, the lists, the delivery people, raised the dollars to do it. I don't know, it's a lot of money that she raised. She's a good development person. She took this on in the summer. They needed someone, and Kelly said, I'll do it. And wow, it's been an amazing job, and I'm so proud of the work she's doing. And at Christmas time, 800 families are going to be blessed because of your work. Thank you, dear. Kelly's our oldest child. Rebecca, our other daughter, is a ear, nose, throat surgeon in Santa Barbara, California, and she's unable to be here tonight because of her medical practice. And she's coming at Christmas, though, so with her family, so we're going to get to see them. But I couldn't be more proud of these kids. Kelly was 14 years old when I was elected. And since she was 14 years old in high school, I guess, junior high, a freshman at Fairmont, she has put up with Dad, the city councilman, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and it's been all three. But the kids campaigned for me and worked hard for me. But that's my family. My brother, New Jersey, I hadn't seen in over a year. He and his two sons drove from New Jersey on Saturday, came out, spent the night. We visited, they had car problems, etc. They left Monday, to go back to New Jersey, but they drove 10 hours out and 10 hours back just to literally spend 6 hours at our house, and I hadn't seen him in a year. That was a real treat. So, yeah. That's my family. I don't want to forget, we've mentioned the Leadership Academy so many times tonight, and there'll be flashes of that a little bit later. But I want to introduce or just have 3 people stand, because the Leadership Academy, while I thought of it and put some things on paper, you know, again, it's not me, it's we. And the 3 folks, 2 of them I see here tonight, Bonnie Piddle and Mary Lou Randolph are both former volunteer directors, coordinators for this community. And 20 years of the Leadership Academy, Bonnie for 10, I guess. Mary Lou worked side by side with me for 7 or so. Dawn, is Dawn here? Dawn Kirchner?
She's not here tonight.
She's not here?
No.
Okay. And if you'd stand up, Lisa Duval, when I was in the hospital in January, it dawned on me that I couldn't move and that I would not be able to do the Leadership Academy like I have done it for 15 years. I went to every meeting, I went to every class. I was really part of the program, and I knew I couldn't do it. I called Lisa because she was supposed to shadow me this year and then take it over next year. I called her in January and I said, Lisa, I can't do it this year. Physically, I'm not going to be able to do it. Would you take it over now? And she said, wow, what? I'm supposed to shadow. And I said, can you step up and do it? And she said, of course, I'll give it a try, I'll do it. I mean, congratulations to you. She was gutsy. It was her first year on council. She's taken it over, she's run with it, and it's better than ever, thanks to Lisa and to Bonnie and Mary Lou. We wouldn't be where we are today without you guys. So, and now Dawn. Quickly, I have had 12 campaigns, 10 for council. I ran for mayor twice. There was a guy named Don Patterson that was elected twice over me. And, you know, I still love the guy. And, you know, we still have fun together. And Don was a great mayor and did a terrific job. 37 years, 25 different council members, 5 mayors, 3 city managers, before I lost track. But there are some people here tonight that from day one have been with me. The Melvilles, I see the Melvilles, and I saw, I don't know, Jim Putoff out there, and Myron, are you still here? Myron Albaugh and his wife Jan have been with me since day one. Regis Leakin from UD is here, and just Steve Muller, my former boss for 20 years, is here, and he put up with all the issues related to running for office when you're working full-time at the University of Dayton. All great people. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Brian Suddeth is here. Is Brian here? He was here. Where is he? Brian. Brian Suddeth has been elected to District 4 City Council representative. I'm leaving. Brian's taken over. So mark your calendars. 37 years from tonight, Brian. Well, and if you want the record, 37 and a half years, we'll have a party for you. These are the folks that have made it possible for me to do what I've done. Trish Milby, Would you please stand? Trish Milby is my full-time caregiver at our home. Clearly, I'm not able to move except with this wheelchair, which can't go upstairs, can't go everywhere. I have machines that help me. I have a Hoyer. I have a machine that can lift me out of chairs and so forth until I get my strength back. But Trish, we hired Trish in August, and she's with me during the day. She puts in long hours, and she has truly been a blessing to me when Jan can't do everything. Jan did it for 8 or 9 months, and it's time for Jan to catch a little break, and Trish has filled in that spot. Does she get flowers? Trish, we have some flowers for you. There you go. This is our council clerk, Shauna Kaczynski, and I was teasing this afternoon, and we were going to call her Vanna White, and then she said, how about use my maiden name, which was Shauna Lavender. What a beautiful name. So this is Shauna Lavender. No, this is Shauna Kaczynski. Council clerks don't get a lot of love. They work for 7 people plus the manager, and everybody gives them projects and things to do. And Shauna is a trooper, I got to tell you. She's been great for me from the hospital. Jan would take messages. I was still running my council, doing everything I could, and I would call Shauna, and we'd email her something, and I would say, Shauna, can you take care of that? Oh, sure. And if I can't, she'd call me back. I mean, she and Jan, frankly, ran District 4 while I was in the hospital, and they still do. You know, I've learned to listen to the women. It's an honor to you have flowers too. No, I'll do you now. Get the little bar. Shauna and her husband Lenny have the cutest daughter in the world, 6-year-old Ava, and I asked Shauna, did Ava get everything she wanted for Halloween? And she said, well, it wasn't bad, but she absolutely loves Rice Krispie treats, and you can buy them anywhere. So I wanted Ava and Shauna to have flowers, but also for Ava, these are Rice Krispie treats, which you can monitor how many she gets and when she gets them. But every time Ava comes into the office, she absolutely brightens your life. She's just the cutest thing. So, yeah, well, she follows her mom and dad. Okay. Are we doing council comments now?
These are yours.
Yeah, these are mine. Okay. Yeah, so I've started. I've officially started. How many minutes am I up to?
Are you serious?
No, I'm going to briefly talk about these council folks. It'll be brief, I promise. Seriously, yeah. I'll start with Jill. Jill Hall has been a great person to work with on council. I found out that Jill, like myself, we love our coffee, except I drink coffee. Jill drinks super coffee. What is it called? Monster Monster Energy. And so I got for Jill as a gift a container of super coffee. Dare I say, there are 200 milligrams of caffeine in just this. So pass that down to Jill. Jill's been a great addition to our community. By the way, she is running for the state senate, and we'll see how that goes. Very good. Okay. Mr. Klepaz, Tony and I have become bosom buddies. When I was in the hospital, Tony would come to visit me, and I would periodically complain about the food. And one thing I mentioned in particular, I said, you know, Tony, what I hate about this place? You don't get bacon. They don't give you bacon. They give you something called sausage, which you can't identify. So about 3 days later, Tony came into my room very quietly. He usually comes in and the nurses could hear him, but this day he came in carrying a little bag, just like this, and he said, hey, I have a gift for you. I said, what's that, Tony? And he takes this out. And I had to give it to Jan because my fingers weren't working, and Jan had to open it up. And she opened it up very carefully and slowly, and you could smell it. And she said, oh, my God, it's bacon. Oh, does that ever smell good? I will tell you that Tony Klepaz makes the best bacon I've ever had in my life. And I made sure he knew that. And so periodically, not every week, but just about every week, Tony would bring me some of his cooked bacon, and he would get it past the nurses and the administrators at the front desk. He would sneak food into the nursing home or the hospital. It was classic to see him do it. So Tony, for you, I have some fully cooked original bacon that you can use and heat it up. Bring it back to me if you want. I don't want you to forget me. Give me Jackie's. Jackie Fisher, every holiday, whatever it is, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, Jackie Fisher will make little cakes, or brownies, cakes, cookies, is that about right? Candy, you name it. She will make these for us and bring them in these containers. I mean, these are pretty darn nice containers. And she brought some in tonight. What was the holiday? Is it? Oh, a New Year's, a Christmas gift. Well, I decided that, you know, these aren't cheap. I'm going to give these back to her. And on the back of one of them, I wrote Duke. So I don't want her to forget me, because her stuff is delicious. So, Jackie, I'm giving these back to you with the intent that you don't forget me. And when you decide to cook again, you feel free.
Copy. Gotcha, Bruce.
Gotcha. Mayor Lehner. Mayor Lehner is a terrific mayor. She's a character, gotta tell you. When she left the State House, you know, she went to the dark side for a while. You know, state Senate, state legislature. Well, how long were you gone? 12 years? 12 years, and we missed her dearly. But when her term was up and the mayor's ship was open, we grabbed her quickly and got her to run for mayor, and we are blessed to have Peggy back on the good side. And yeah, I know. And it's different than the state legislature, but I know you enjoy this, maybe even more than that. Peggy and Jim, Peggy's husband, Jim, is a doctor, and they're also avid Notre Dame fans. They will go to every Notre Dame game that's at home. They will travel to Notre Dame games. This year, they traveled to Dublin, Ireland, to watch Notre Dame play Rice from Texas. Watch them play Navy, and wouldn't you know, a day or two before the game, they both got COVID. Her husband Jim ended up in the hospital, Peggy did not, but they were stuck in Ireland because they couldn't travel until their isolation from COVID expired. Peggy, you have how many children? 5 children and 14 grandchildren? 14 grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Well, that's my surprise for you, but I won't say any more. I'll let that pass. Make some phone calls when you get home, but you know, Peggy is one of the best mothers I've ever met. She sees her kids regularly. She sees her grandchildren regularly. She's gone a lot, but she does a great job as mayor. I wasn't sure what to get Peggy, so what I got for Peggy are 2 calendars, one for the city and one for her family, because she is that busy and you can't fit everything on one calendar. But Peggy and Jim would come to visit me in the hospital, and they'd always come Sunday afternoon about 2:30, 3 o'clock. And after 5 months or so, finally I say, hey, Peg, you and Jim come on Sunday afternoon. I would think you'd want some time to yourself. And she said, well, let me tell you, Bruce, she said, Jim is still doing a lot of surgeries, and he does them here, and he is the physician that when he's done surgery on you and you're in the hospital, he comes to see you every day. I thought, wow, that's commendable. And she said, well, his patients are here, so he comes on Sunday to see them, and you are here. So after he sees his patients, we stop by to say hi to you. And it was so nice to have the mayor, and I would make it very clear to others that the mayor has come to see me. And the nurses, the mayor comes to, the mayor of Kettering comes, oh yeah, and I got to tell you, she and Jim became celebrities, and I got better attention. So I thank you for both, for being a terrific mayor and for coming to see me as often as you guys did. It was great. Okay, I have an agenda. I'm almost done. Am I up? Am I up to my 10 minutes yet? Where's the certificates? Oh, no, I have this. Lisa Duval, I've talked about her a little bit. I have a habit when I go to a council meeting of bringing a little bag of pretzels. They're filled, peanut butter filled pretzels, you know what I'm talking about. They're so good. And I munch on them during the meeting. I bring 17, that's my limit. And I sit next to Lisa at this and at workshop, and a long time ago I'd slide her over a pretzel, you know, and she liked them, I could tell. So pretty soon I was dividing up my pretzels, and she, out of the 17, she was probably getting 9 and I was getting 8.
That is not true.
And I said, this has got to stop. So I then began to bring my bag of pretzels, but I brought one for Lisa because I like my pretzels. And Lisa, you know, that's the last bag of pretzels you're getting. I'm not going to be here anymore. I'm not going to be in workshop. I'm not going to be in council meetings. So I'm solving your problem for a little while. If you'll take these, my dear.
And I promise to share with Brian Suddeth.
Well, Brian will be sitting next to you. If Brian likes them, you never know. But Lisa has been a gift to me by taking over my responsibilities for the Leadership Academy, and I hope you enjoy those pretzels. Those should last you about 6 months.
Oh, I'm good.
I haven't counted them, but there's a lot in there.
I'll do 17 a week.
17 a week. That's all you get. Yep. Too many carbs. Where's Bob? I had certificates to go with these people, but I'm out of time. I do want to, for Bob Scott, by the way, is your son still here? Oh, there he is, Rob Scott. That's Bob's son, and Rob was on council for 8 years, 10 years? 10 years, and Rob is now the clerk of courts for Montgomery County.
No, that would be a promotion. It's Kettering Municipal Court.
Oh, Kettering Municipal Court. I'm sorry. I gave you a bigger job. You're doing a great job. Yeah. As far as Bob Scott goes on council, his attention to detail is like the intricate layers of jawbreaker candy. It ensures that everything is done precisely and to the best of our abilities. Bless my wife, Jan. She went to get jawbreaker candy for Bob Scott. She went to, I'll just, at least, 8 or 9 stores? Every place you think there would be jawbreaker candy, it's not there. Even the machines used to have it. So I don't know what we found. I don't know what it is, but this is for Bob. It's got a piece of candy on it.
Bruce, my dentist will thank you later.
Yeah. Well, Bob is like Tony on council. They're very precise. I was shocked last week or a couple of meetings ago when, you know, you heard some of the numbers tonight we play with. 25 million, 46 million, 74 million, blah, blah. And you're comparing them this year, last year, 5-year projections, whatever. And out of the blue, Bob said a week or two ago, well, when I'm looking at this 74 million versus the 63 million, I see a 13% difference, but on the calculation, it's only 11% difference. Could you explain that to our finance folks? And they were caught off guard, but they explained it. But here he is, he's doing percentages on these large numbers. You're very precise and you do a great job. Yeah. Amy Shrimp is still here. Where is Amy? Oh, there she is. Amy Shrimp served on council from 2007 to 17 or something like that, about 8 or 9 years. And Amy is now our economic development director. What does this say? Hold the rest. Hold the rest of your. I'm done. Oh. What's this? Do I have more? No. I've been told I'm done. Was I within 10 minutes?
No. But
I worked.
we can adjust. We can adjust.
We're adjusting.
We are going to go downstairs.
Yep, we're done.
We are going to have lots of food for folks. but we thought it's getting a little late, so maybe we would give the last gift that we had to give up here. And then you can go downstairs and visit as long as you want, and you can interrupt them, you can kiss them, you can do whatever you want to do with them. But we do have a gift to go both to Tony and to Bruce. You know, they always say that the most fun of giving a gift is the actual giving rather than the receiving. So we had a lot of fun coming up with this, but we hope you enjoy receiving it as well.
Giving us gifts?
Yeah, we're giving you gifts, something permanent, you know, that'll last longer than 37 years, something like that. So don't get too excited. But we also have one for Tony, so you both get one. But Tony's is a plaque, a bronze plaque. Is it real bronze? I think it's bronze. Real bronze? I don't know. And it reads, Tony Klepaz, Kettering City Council member, served Kettering residents from February 27, 2007 to December 31, 2023. Councilman Tony Klepaz dedicated 16 years of public service to Kettering. He championed local businesses by reminding residents to shop Kettering at every opportunity. Two small words that will be forever make a difference. Aside from bolstering Kettering's economy, his unique ability to listen, learn, and lead helped keep Kettering properties beautiful, and he regularly assisted those in need. Kettering feels like home because of his efforts, and he left us with a simple request: shop Kettering. And this will be displayed in front of Town and Country Shopping Center for perpetuity. And those of you who are in city development and planning, et cetera, make sure you always leave part of the street that belongs to you, so you can put up signs like this without anyone objecting. Okay. Bruce, to you, we have this following. Honoring Bruce E. Duke, Kettering City Council member. Served Kettering residents from December 1, 1986 to December 31, 2023. Councilman Duke's advocacy for the arts, voice for Kettering residents, and vision for a healthy future helped build a strong community that feels like home. Mr. Duke's efforts helped transform this once nondescript bridge into something beautiful and powerful. The Ridgeway Road Bridge connects people and places, just as Councilman Duke did. He spent 37 years bridging gaps, kindling ideas, and sparking the momentum that will forever be his legacy. Kettering is a better city because of Bruce Duke's dream to make it so. Those who sit alongside this bridge might just stand up a bit more inspired. And this plaque will appear on the side of the Ridgeway Bridge. Wow. There you go. Well, except okay. Did you get yours?
My wife
it's okay. All right.
Me on this as much as mine.
Okay, we will now invite everybody to come downstairs. We hope you're still awake. We'll give you breakfast. And it was only 37 minutes. Okay. And before we leave, is one final order of business. Being no further business to come before City Council, our next regularly scheduled City Council meeting will be January 9th, 2024. Hard to believe. And this meeting is adjourned.